is CNN Breaking News.
Hello, I'm Richard Quest at the New York Stock Exchange. Quest Express follows in just a moment. But with breaking news concerning the immigration debate and scandal in the United States at the moment, President Donald Trump has just said in remarks to reporters, I'm going to quote you, "I will be signing something in a little while that's going to do that." Now, I assume by that he's referring to solve the problem of children being separated from their parents, having illegally crossed the border. "I'll be signing something in a little while that's going to do that," Donald Trump said. "I'll be doing something that's somewhat preemptive and ultimately will be matched by legislation, I'm sure." What does that mean? Absolutely no idea, because we've no idea what he's talking about, in the sense of, although everybody has said that all the president needs to do is sign some sort of executive order that would prevent the separation of children from parents after being caught illegally crossing the border. But now it seems Donald Trump is going to do something. We don't know what. We don't know when. We expect it to be in the next hour or so. The only thing I can promise you is when it does happen, we'll bring it to you as fast and as accurately as we can. So there we are. That story is very much on the move. This is the Quest Express live from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, where we really do need to catch up on the markets. Having had a torrid session over the last few days of losses, things seem to have settled down a bit. Let me show you the numbers. The Dow Jones Industrials this morning are down just less than 0.1%, just off 20 points. The broader market is actually much stronger. The S&P 500, which is represented by the graph, besides that one dip, the broader market is up 0.33%, with the Russell as well up 0.75%. Interestingly, the FANG stocks, they are at more than 1%, which is also a reflection, of course, that the tech stocks are stronger over on the NASDAQ. One stock to note, GE, we'll talk about it during the course of the program. GE is being booted out of the Dow, one of the very first stocks that still survives. It's no longer going to be in the Dow. Now, looking at the markets in Europe, the mixed day for European markets. The British, the Swiss shares performed well, and the Eurozone, the markets were less so. Again, watching really for direction from New York, but also concern. Now, what are the big stories? The big talking point, a good old-fashioned takeover bid war is underway for the assets that Rupert Murdoch is selling from 21st Century Fox. Disney has now come back in and increased the amount. Brian Stelter is with me. Brian, before we hear from you, let me show you, the viewers, what the Disney stock price is doing. It is just up a tad, virtually changed, but Disney has come back with $71 billion, which is considerably more, Brian, than they had originally offered.
Yes, and Fox stock is now at a record high as a result. Fox trading up 7% on the day. There's a question now about what Comcast will do. You can see Comcast down just slightly right now, while Fox is way up and Disney is slightly up. Look, this bid is remarkable, $71 billion. A few days ago, the price for these Fox assets was $52 billion. Then Comcast came in at $65 billion. Now we're up to $71 billion. Disney's sweetening the pot. The question is, how much higher could we go? How much higher could Comcast go? How much higher could Comcast go given the restrictions on its balance sheet? It's over to Brian Roberts now. He's the Comcast CEO that has been eyeing these assets for many months. We'll see what he does. But in the meantime, Fox and Disney are staying together, and this is Rupert Murdoch's best week, maybe of his life.
And interestingly, the Disney bid has an option, doesn't it? So you can either take the original bid, which was, or you could take it under the terms of the original bid, which is a share offer, or you can take the cash, which would leverage up the Disney balance sheet. At the end of the day, Brian, at the end of the day, the core question, within the industry, which company better fits the Fox assets, Comcast or Disney?
I think Disney has a remarkable amount of scale already, but it believes it has to get bigger to compete with Netflix, with Google, with Facebook, with Amazon, and others. I can see it fitting in a logical way with either company, but for Comcast, this is more about international growth For Disney, it's about owning more content, more movies, more brands, more franchises. Disney is making it very clear that it's not going to back down. You know, going from $52 billion to $71 billion, it is a remarkable change in this bidding war.
You've got to love it. This is a good, old-fashioned bidding war, the sort you just don't see that often. Used to get them all the time in the 80s. All right, Brian Stelter, thank you very much. Talking of good and old-fashioned, poor old GE. There you go. Look, GE is off just over 0.5%. And the reason, the stock has been kicked out of the Dow Jones Industrials, or it will be next week. Paul LaMonica is covering this. It's the last of the original members of the Dow. It was out for a short period of time at the turn of the previous century. Paul, why is it being kicked out?
GE had been in the Dow for more than 100 years, but simply put, Richard, this is a company that lost its way. It got bloated by too many deals under previous management, Jack Welch and Jeff Immelt. And the stock price is now so low that the gap between it and Boeing got too large. There is no way they could keep it in this average, because remember, this is a price-weighted average, not a market cap like the S&P 500. So with GE stock in the teens while Boeing is trading, you know, at like 300 and something, it was hard to keep GE, which had such a small percentage, move in the Dow now. It didn't really make that much of a difference anymore to keep it in. And GE just is not reflective of the U.S. economy anymore the way it used to be. So out goes GE and in comes Walgreens Boots Alliance, the giant drugstore company.
Which, of course, includes the UK part, which is the Boots side. A sad day, perhaps. Paul LaMonica, thank you. And I say it's sad because, just think about it, GE had it all at one particular point. It started with Thomas Edison and the light bulb in the late 1800s. It was originally known for its light bulbs, the incandescent, and then later the LEDs and the halogens. Massive influence in the medical field with X-ray machines. In fact, I think GE almost invented the MRI and the CT scan. The home appliances in the 1900s, electric ranges, stoves, toaster ovens, the self-cleaning oven, and even the Trivection oven, whatever that might be. Refrigerators, freezers, electric clothes washers. Then you go on to radio stations and TV networks. It owned NBC at one point, transatlantic radio systems, and then aviation, jet engines, autopilots, supersonic jets. Here's a fact I didn't know. Neil Armstrong's boots were made with GE silicon. It even reached the moon. Alan Valdes didn't know that about GE.
I did not know. Interesting.
But you do know GE.
Yes,
we bring good things to life.
Yeah, sure do. But you know what? Since last year, it hasn't been that good for GE. I mean, once they cut that dividend, most people that own GE headed for that dividend. And once they slashed that in half, kiss of death for GE.
Does it mean anything GE anymore?
Yeah, the stock could rise. I mean, if you look at Alcoa and AT&T, after they left the Dow, the first year after, Alcoa was up like 96%. And
why? I mean, come on, that's not because they left the Dow. Look, so last year, at the end of last year,
yes,
GE was one of the Dow, the dogs of the Dow.
Without a doubt.
Without the doubt. So I thought I'd buy it. I thought, all right, I'll buy a few shares of GE just to see what happens. They're down 50%.
You should own Bitcoin. No, but what you should, hold on to it, though. Hold on to it. I think GE, you could see it rise after all the dust settles.
What does GE, I mean, does GE, as a symbol of manufacturing America, does this mean it's over?
You know, basically, you're right. And here's what happened. If you look at yesterday's down 400 points, it was two stocks. It was the old industrials. It was Boeing, and it was Caterpillar. But if you look at the stocks that did well, it's technology. So Amazon, or the techs did well. But wait.
You cannot build an economy on tech alone. You need companies that make things.
But things are changing. They're making them all over the world, not just here. We're making beamers here that used to be only made in Germany. We're making products here that are shipping to China that are Chinese products. So overall, the world economy is changing. But the tariffs that we're talking about now, they're affecting the old industrials, maybe not so much the techs. That's why the techs had a pretty good day yesterday. And, of course, the Russell had a good day yesterday, local stocks.
Good to see you. Thank you. GE.
Thank you, sir.
We bring good things to life. Actually, the new phrase is imagination at work. But GE.
Thank you.